Hey guys, we're about to start the Sloth Keeper experience, so keep watching. This is 3 hours with all 3 of our sloths. So you're going to get to watch and see as people feed and care and do everything that we do to take care of the sloths. So if you've ever wanted to be a Sloth Keeper yourself, you can go to our website and sign up. You get to spend time with all of the sloths and do everything that we do to take care of them. So keep watching and you can see what a Sloth Keeper experience is like. We might go and film some other stuff because 3 hours is a long time. But if you love sloths and you want to spend 3 hours with all 3 of our sloths, you can sign up for this awesome experience. It's really, really cool. So we have Flash, Zoe, and Dash. And you're going to get to meet all of them today. It's going to be really awesome.
Already got Flash out here hanging out with us.
Aww.
He is ready for breakfast.
Hi, baby. Now, are we allowed to take?
Yeah, you can take all the pictures you want, and if you want to pet him, you can just go real slow strokes just like this down his back. And sometimes if he's not feeling the pets, he'll start to scrunch back up, and then we can just give him a break from the pets.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Arnie. Hi, Flash. Hi.
Yeah, it's warm in here. I'm not gonna be needing this.
Yeah, so it stays a constant 78 degrees in here. And that's because sloths can't regulate their own body temperatures.
Oh, really?
And so, yes, so they need to have their sweet temperature provided to them.
And what's your name again?
This is Flash.
Did you get that from Zootopia?
Yes. So we've got Flash and baby Dash, and we've got Zoe, she's right in there. And our next one that we're gonna get, we're gonna name Chloe.
Oh, you're gonna get a 4th one.
Yes. And we're not quite sure when she will come, because it's all on the mother's timing for as far as when the babies are ready.
for your close-up, aren't you?
Get it? Want me to do it?
I can't wait to you.
Hi, Arnie.
Reach up and pat him.
Scrunch up.
Yeah, they got a little armadillo in there.
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
That is Bakugan.
He is so tiny. Wow.
So, we're gonna feed Flash his breakfast this morning in between doing our other tasks and everything. So when we feed Flash, they have really poor eyesight. And so once he gets a hold of the end of the stick that we're giving to him, then we can let go of it and he will just eat the rest of it for him.
Well, excuse me.
And sometimes he gets a little picky, but he can, all of this is breakfast. And sometimes I have offered him one end of the stick and he's not wanted that and not wanted anything else. And I turned it around and offered him the other end and he wants that. So whatever makes him happy. So we can feed him all that. And we're also gonna work on chopping up some other veggies this morning. So with this Sloth Keeper encounter, it is
Don't want
all
the
of the
zucchini,
things. Prep of the food and everything.
They feel different than I thought they would.
I figured they'd be coarse.
Yes.
Yeah.
They look really coarse, and under the microscope, their hairs actually have little micro cracks all through them. But they're a lot softer in captivity here than a lot of people think. Because a lot of times they've seen the pictures of the ones in the wild that have moss and algae and everything
Yeah,
growing all
yeah.
over them. And we obviously don't have that here because they don't get rained on all the time.
Right.
So is this like the full-grown size,
Yes.
average size of a
That's-
full-grown sloth?
Yeah, that's the average size for our two-toed sloths. So Flash and everybody that we have here are two-toed Linnaeus sloths.
Okay.
We have two-toeds and three-toed sloths, and the three-toed sloths are a lot smaller than the two-toeds.
Are they?
Yes, and we say two toes, but you can see that on the back feet, they actually have three.
Yeah, it's the front,
Yes,
right?
it's the front. So a lot of people have changed now to saying two-fingered and three-fingered sloths
Okay.
instead of the toes, just to make it a little bit simpler. And so we always wash our veggies before we chop them up, to get any kind of preservatives or pesticides or whatever off of them.
How old is Dash?
Flash is
Flash,
six years old.
6.
Yes.
How long do they live?
So there's not been a scientist that has tracked a sloth in the wild from birth until geriatrics because they're quite difficult to track. But in captivity, the oldest sloth that we know of just passed away this past August, and he was 54 years old.
Oh
when he
my
passed away.
goodness.
Yeah, so
Wow.
they can make it quite a long time.
That really surprises me considering their movement.
Yes.
Well, just like turtles.
Well,
They live 150 years.
yeah, but this has been dang hard shell.
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
Well, and if you think about, in captivity, they don't have any of the natural things that are after them trying to get them.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Like the harpy eagle and jaguars and things like that are after them in the wild.
You not hungry this morning?
Sometimes he likes to take little breaks in between eating.
You guys do have a gift shop, right?
Yeah, so right now out there, that's in that cabinet is about all we have. We're working on making an actual little store
Okay.
for a gift shop. We've got a lot more things than it looks like we have that are out there in that little cabinet. They're just all out up in the house. And sorry for having to go back and forth why we don't have a trash can in here, I don't know. But,
Hi. You got it? Oh.
green beans are definitely his favorite.
Yeah, I've tried the carrot, I've tried the zucchini. He's like, no,
Yeah.
not right now, thanks.
Yeah, he'll usually eat all of
But
his
I
green
put a
beans.
green bean up there and it's like, now that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
That's what I want.
yeah. He is very picky.
You're just precious.
They all get just what they want though, that's for sure.
Well, as it should be. Oh, look at you. It's like you're used to this.
He says, where's my next part?
Right.
Try a little carrot. No?
Okay, I got a green bean. You want a green bean? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he likes the green beans.
So it's green bean day today.
What is his approximate weight?
He is about 15 pounds.
Is he?
Yes, but right before they use the bathroom, he will get to be up to about 20 pounds.
No kidding.
Yes, so they only use the bathroom once every 7 to 10 days.
Oh my
And so when they go, they expel a whole 1/3 of their body weight.
Wow.
So usually right after a poop, he is about 15 pounds.
Good stuff.
And
More.
then he can get up to, like I said, 20 pounds right before he uses the bathroom.
Okay.
More. There you go, buddy.
Is this where he lives or did he come out for us?
Yes, so he just came out here, just to interact and everything and to have his breakfast, but he usually will stay right there in his his enclosure that goes up
Okay,
20 feet.
ready?
Okay.
Hi.
T-shirts.
Thank you.
Go, baby. There you go.
Good picture with his claw out like that. Oh, too cool. It's got Sloth Keeper on the back.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
I like that.
How cute is that? Ready? Are you ready?
He did some extra keeping duties this morning because he has done his weekly business.
All right.
Ah.
So the piles of towels are above the washer in there. And keep what he has put out.
So I'm gonna slow this over here, and I'll slow him here. If you guys want to chop up some of those veggies as well, just into really thin little sticks, like are in here.
How do you do them, like in just lengthwise like
Yep,
that?
so I've already started this one, and then I'll kind of lay them out, and I'll cut again.
Okay.
Just to make them thinner, just like kind of how these are. So this is
Oh
Dash.
my gosh. Oh jeez. Oh my goodness.
And so Dash is obviously still a baby, and he gets a little bit overwhelmed with all of the people that are looking at him sometimes. And so his goal is to be held. And so a lot of the times when he's kind of reaching out like this and everything, it's because he's wanting someone to pick him up.
Okay.
And we need to get him up so that we can clean his business. And so if one of you wants to hold him for a little bit, you're welcome to, while I kind of clean up his mess in here. And so if you wanted to scoot that little blue chair around and have a seat, then we can sit down and hold him for a little bit.
This chair?
Yeah, either one of them.
You're out of green beans, buddy. You want something else? Want something else? No? You cut these in half.
No, that should be about good.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, you are soft. Hi, honey.
And so if you want to have a seat there, I will transfer him over onto you.
Hi, baby. Oh. Oh my goodness, I'm in love with you.
And so he has not had his breakfast yet this morning. So I will work on getting it together here in just a second.
You are so
But
soft.
if he starts to get a little bit nippy with you and he's reaching for your arm to try to take a bite or anything, just rotate your arm away from him, just so he doesn't take a chunk out of it.
Now, how old is that little guy?
So Dash, this baby, is 8.5 months old.
Well, it's still so tiny.
Yes.
I take a picture. I take a picture. I take a picture. I got the baby.
I'm prepping. I'm prepping.
I know. Take a quick picture.
I will take a
Give me a. There you go.
Right back.
picture.
What are you doing? You squirming.
Sweet. Get that piece.
Oh, hi. Hi. What are you doing?
Hi,
well,
bud.
hello.
He's like, feed me some more.
Hi.
There you go, I get you with both of them.
Is this your baby? Yeah. There you go. You are just so freaking cute. Here you go. So cute.
I'm probably not as proficient as you are with this.
No, definitely not. I could not be a personal chef in any shape or form because it takes me so long to cut all of that up.
How many pounds of veggies do they go through? And how many times a day are they fed?
So they're pretty much just snackers. So they will eat all throughout the day.
Okay.
Of course, they get their regular breakfast and dinner at the same time. But throughout the day, if they are looking hungry in any way, then we will give them snacks throughout the day.
Okay.
I'm in love with you.
Now, how many encounters a day do they do?
So total, none of our sloths encounter for more than 2 hours a day.
Okay.
And so we're very guarded of the time that we get to spend and people get to spend with our sloths. Because, you know, they like to have a routine schedule, the same way that you and me do. And so I like to know what time my alarm's gonna be set, what time I'm gonna eat breakfast, and so on and so forth, and they're the same way. And
Okay.
so you can imagine as well,
They're pretty awesome, aren't they?
sloths sleep the majority of the day. It's estimated that they sleep between 15 and 16 hours a day.
Do they?
Yes, and so they have to have plenty of time just in their enclosures to themselves to do whatever it is that they want to do, whether it be taking a nap or, you know, just chilling, hanging out in their hammock. And so we're very guarded of the time that we get to spend.
Well, and that makes sense because like you said, you don't wanna overwhelm them.
Exactly, yeah. And a lot of places, you know, you really have to look into and research because some places will advertise as drop-in sloth encounters. And that sounds all great and dandy, but for the sloths, if you think about it, they never know what time that they're gonna be interacted with. They don't know when somebody's gonna be coming in there and wanting to pick them up and interact with them. And so we really we want to make sure that they, you know, have a strict schedule that they get to stick to and they know what time they're gonna be interacted with and what time they're gonna eat and so on and
Well,
so
and
forth.
give them the respect they deserve.
Exactly.
So are their noses always wet like that?
Yeah, so Flash's, his tends to stay pretty wet like that, especially if we give him a little slice of banana or something like that. He tends to kind of smush it all over himself. But both Dash and Zoe, they look wet, but they're actually just really silky soft. Sometimes they're wet, but it's kind of like a dog. I mean, sometimes they kind of change back and forth between being wet and dry.
We're working on your food, we are. I'm trying, buddy, I'm trying.
We always say when we're chopping up those veggies that it's good that we weren't a professional chef. Yeah. We've had a couple of times that people are really good at cooking come in and they're like chopping away and we're like, man, we wish we gave them a bunch of veggies to chop. They're way better than us.
I'm like, just stay here for the day.
Yeah.
And chop the next few days.
Yeah.
There you go. What are you doing?
You good, Michaela?
Is Zoe eating too?
Yeah, so we will feed her after we finish up in here with Flash
Okay.
and Dash, because it's kind of difficult to hold all three of them at the same time. But when we first started doing our encounters with Flash here, we based it around what time he wanted to come out and do his encounters. And so it began to be his routine that every morning when I get here at 9:30, we come in and he's already down, kind of tapping on that glass when they come out here and come out onto his branch here, because he knows that he gets his breakfast out here.
Ah,
And
okay.
on the off chance that he was just not feeling it one day and wanted to stay up in his hammock, then all we would do is just let him know that we're putting his breakfast down in his little bowl where it usually is in the evenings, and he just would come down on his own time.
Okay. Well, like I said, that's giving them the respect they deserve.
Exactly.
You are
We're asking something of them that isn't normal.
precious, precious, precious.
And so for them, this is their normal. And so both Dash and Zoe was bred by a doctor of veterinary medicine that has been doing it for over 30 years. And yes, and he has lots of experience and research and time put into these animals to understand how they work and what works best for them, to be able to provide ambassador animals like this. So both Dash and Zoe are both ambassador animals. And so that means that before they left his facility now, they had to pass the final ambassador test, which means that given the opportunity between being held by a person and being provided something that they really enjoy doing, whether that be a specific hammock like Zoe likes to lay in, or a basket that they like to spend time in, or going back to their mother, that they would rather be held by a person than go do something that they enjoy.
Really?
And so, yes, so these animals are further removed from the rainforest than we are from the pilgrims that first came over. And so if they were to be put out in the rainforest, they would essentially not really know what to do.
I'm not ignoring you, I just.
So what are your qualifications to work here? Animal behavior science and all that?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's degree in animal science.
Okay.
And then I've also worked at a veterinary clinic for 4 years as an assistant, and I'm wanting to go to vet school.
Oh,
so
good
I've
for
already,
you.
yeah, I've already applied once and didn't make it the first time. I got an interview, but I didn't get accepted.
Well, I've heard vet school is actually harder to get into than med.
Yes, that's what a lot of people say, and it takes a lot of experience and time,
Patience.
yeah, and everything to be able to get in. And so
Well, good luck to
hopefully
you. I hope,
Yeah, good
I
luck.
hope you can achieve that.
I would've loved to have been a vet. There's a lot of schooling.
It is, because it's 4 years, a lot of people don't realize that it's 4 years of undergrad and then another 4 years of actual vet school.
And then you have to intern and everything else, yeah.
Just like becoming a doctor.
Yeah, I'd love to work at a place like this with a zoo.
Oh, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
While we were waiting, I just went up and was taking a picture of a llama.
Mhm.
I got yelled at.
For taking a picture of the llama?
Yeah, why would I have been? He said, all I heard was don't and please. I didn't hear the rest. Michelle didn't hear the rest. She said, what did he say?
Was
And I
it
said,
John, the guy that went to go get the t-shirts?
The one that had the monkey.
no, the one that had the monkey.
Was it 'cause she was up by the fence?
Oh, could be, so those llamas aren't the friendliest, so if they were really close
Oh,
to you,
okay.
then they could have gotten a little bit aggressive.
Oh.
That's why they're over there in their own pen and not out in the petting zoo. That may have been why,
Okay.
but taking pictures usually is fine.
Well, and that's what I thought. It's like, I'm not doing the animal
Yeah.
any harm. I didn't
Yeah.
reach out for it
Yeah.
or anything, and it wasn't even near the fence. It was
Yeah.
kind of more out in the field.
Yeah, may have just been kind of telling you as a cautionary, since we didn't
Okay.
know what the rest of it was.
Because I thought, oh my goodness, is this the
Yeah.
way we're gonna be treated?
No.
This is not good. Not a good
No.
start.
Yeah, well, I can ask him about it and see what he was meaning, but yeah.
I
I
think
gotta
that's what
get a
it was.
picture
on
of
the
you all
fence.
stretched out.
And the geese, if there were geese around you, those geese will reach through the fence to try to bite you. They are not.
Geese are always mean.
Yes, and so that may have been some of it too.
Look down at your baby.
So
Are
this
you
is
ready
a
for
boy,
another
right?
one?
Dash is a boy.
Yes, those are both boys, yeah. And Zoe's a little girl, and the next
Ready
one
for
that we
another
get
one?
will be a girl as well. Says if that's all you got, and you got no more green beans.
Yeah,
then
no
I
more
guess
green
I'll deal
beans.
with
I
it.
guess I'll deal with the squash. Thanks. Try that carrot again. Keeps telling me no on the carrots. No, I told you I didn't want that. You got our green beans, baby boy.
I mean, you could imagine, I think we'd be pretty picky too if we got hand-fed all of our food, and if we didn't want that bite and we were offered another bite, then.
True.
Right.
Now, huh? Okay.
So the next thing that we're gonna prep is our rice and dog food mixture. And so our babies both get a mixture of brown rice, rinsed brown rice, with a high quality dog food that's soaked into it for their protein. And so Flash gets 2 hard-boiled eggs a week, but the babies get their protein through the high quality dog food.
Okay.
So it's not a whole lot, and like I said, it's soaked into the rice and everything. So,
I'm trying to look at your ear. I feel it, I can't see it though. I'm trying to look at your ear. How cute is that? Oh, your ear's so adorable.
Are you in heaven right now?
I am. If they stayed this size, oh my gosh. I love when the animals are babies. We're working on your food. We are. No.
So for the brown rice mixture that we give them, We do a cup and a half of brown rice to like a whole water bottle full of water after we get it rinsed. And then we let that cook for a while, and then we'll also prep the dog food as well.
Now, will that last them all day?
Yeah, so it'll last them a few days. We have some more already pre-made in the fridge.
Okay.
I'll get that out here in just a minute.
Stretching, I'm waiting to be fed, people. It's coming. She getting it.
And so in the wild, the protein source that they would get their protein from is actually a moth that lives on their back. And so there's a moth that's called the sloth moth that only lives on the back of the sloth and nowhere else in
Really?
the world. Yes.
Wow.
And so when they turn around and groom themselves, they lick up a portion of the moths, and that is acts as their protein source.
I'll be darned. So are they basically vegetarian?
Yes. For the most part, they will eat small little bugs and stuff like the moth, if they were to crawl up onto them. But in the wild, they mostly eat the leaves of the sarcopia trees that grow.
So they're not after little ground mice and things like
Yep, so
that?
they are primarily arboreal animals, which means that they stay in the trees as often as they can unless they were to be knocked out of the tree or fall out of the tree, which happens on average of once a week for the sloths.
Oh,
But it's not too bad for them. So the two-toed sloths are built basically like trucks. So they have a total of 46 ribs.
Oh, my
23
God.
sets of ribs,
Wow.
which allows them to withstand falls from the rainforest, from the canopy of the rainforest for
My
up to
goodness.
100 feet.
Really?
Yes.
Dang, that's a lot of ribs.
It is.
You're just way too cute.
And that is because
You are.
that attached to all of those ribs is connective tissue that attaches their organs and intestines and everything. It kind of adheres everything and makes sure that it stays in the right place, which you can imagine is pretty important for them when they're hanging upside down and such,
Mm-hmm.
to keep everything in the right place and in the place that it should be. And it also helps with, if they take a tumble, then they can withstand, pretty great winds of distances.
Yeah.
And if they were to be knocked out of a tree by, if they were to be knocked out of a tree by something that was actually after them, like a jaguar or an ocelot or something like that, then the jaguar or ocelot would most definitely not survive that fall, and the sloth will.
Wow.
So the sloth will just look over at whatever it was that was after you and just go, aw, aw, and let it go right back up.
What are their predators in the
So-
wild?
Their main thing that is after them is the harpy eagles. That's their
The
main
eagle?
threat. Yes.
Really?
And so they have really good eyesight, and from the top of the trees, sloths are a lot easier to spot.
Mm-hmm.
Because from the rainforest floor, looking up, they don't look that different than the rest of the canopy because they have all of the moss and algae and everything that's growing on them.
Right.
And so, the harpy eagle is definitely the number one.
I'll be darned.
But other predators are things like jaguars or ocelots, little cats that are coming up trying to get them. But most of the time, they don't even get spotted because, like I said, looking up at a sloth, you just see their backside.
Right.
And all you see is moss and algae.
So how long have you been here at Ecology?
I have only been here for about 2 weeks.
Oh,
So, yeah. So
Oh, my
I am
goodness.
still learning all of the ropes. But I used to ride with the large animal vet that would come and take care of all the animals here. And so I kind of already knew everybody pretty well and knew the animals and everything, so it wasn't as big an adjustment as a whole new job.
Use this wormy thing. This hungry thing.
Hungry. Hungry.
Where you
No,
going?
you don't get my fingers.
Where you going? I'll let her transfer
Yeah.
the baby that use. You can hold him for a while.
Yeah. Here, I will get it, pick him up here in just a second.
And you're gonna fall in love too.
Oh, I'm already in love. I was in love the minute I walked in and saw him. That is my spirit animal.
Yeah.
I have just that same amount of energy.
I feel like a lot of people say that.
There you go.
Oh, you're so light.
Light and soft.
Oh my gosh. Oh goodness sake, my heart.
Is that what you want?
Now, does he feed himself?
Yes. You can take little bites. Oh, he's hungry this morning.
Yeah, he's gnawing.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Usually he just takes tiny little bites, but he is chowing down.
He's hungry. So when we got Dash, I want one. I want one.
When we got Dash, he was about 4 months old. And that was when his mother weaned him naturally.
Uh-huh.
And so they don't stay with the mothers for a very long time. But as you can imagine, it takes a lot of energy for the mother to be able to produce, the milk and everything that the babies require. And when you already have a diet that consists of very, very low caloric content diet, it's quite important to maintain having a baby for a really long time like that.
How many babies do they have?
Typically only one. On the off chance that they were to have twins, they only have the ability to rear one, and so it would just be the strongest one that would make it.
Are you done, Flash?
But on the norm, they just have one.
Yes.
And what are their babies called?
Pups.
Pups?
And it's not always that the mother will wean the baby and leave the baby. Sometimes it's that the baby will wean itself and leave the mother. Because in the wild and in captivity, they're really solitary animals. And obviously these two are exceptions because they're ambassador animals, and so they are trained to love to be held by people. But they really don't hang out amongst their own species. And so you think of, they have names for like a herd or a flock or a gander, a group of animals like that. There is no name like that for a group of sloths because they don't exist.
So that would tell me that they're not monogamous with their mates.
Yes, yeah.
They are?
No.
No, they are not, okay.
No.
Hungry little baby.
Yes, he is hungry this morning. That's not usual for him. Usually
Really?
he's just a snacker, and he'll just take little bites and then be good for another hour or two.
Yeah, he's chowing. This has gotta be the most precious thing.
Right.
Oh my goodness sakes.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, I tried to book this in March, but we wanted the 3 events rather than drive back and forth. And it took me until May to get all 3 events on the same day.
Yes, we stay pretty booked here, especially in the summer months.
Oh, I'm sure, and I'll bet everyone wants the
Linda, look
sloth,
this way.
sloth encounter.
Yes, the sloths are the highlight. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness, you are adorable. I can't stand it.
Did you get a full belly? you got full belly? Are you still hungry? Eat the food, not my finger.
I'm taking several snaps of you so you can pick the ones you want later.
Yeah, that's what I was doing too.
Trying to get your face and his face at the same time, and then you got Flush hanging behind you on one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did somebody come in here and steal the vegetables?
Somebody was looking in there for vegetables, I think.
I'll be right back.
Did they take them?
Yes, I think so. I'm like, am I going crazy?
I'm in love.
I
Oh
know.
my god. This baby.
Can we get a close up?
Get his face.
There we go, he's gonna make them.
Yeah, I got him. That's why I said I'm taking several.
Yeah, I'm gonna take several of you too, that was my fault. And then I'll just send them all to you and you can edit, delete, whatever it is you wanna do with it.
Glass.
Yeah, she was just in there chomping away. I was like,
They crack me up with that head looking back.
Uh-huh.
Hey Dad. No, you're not Dad.
That's Flash. You're holding Dash.
yeah, I get confused myself.
You're holding Dash.
Very similar.
Can't remember that the last time my heart beated like this.
I know, right?
Wow.
I've always loved sloths ever since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine had an experience, and when I saw her, she had posted it on Facebook, and I'm going, what? When? Where? She was in Georgia.
Yeah.
She had her experience. So then when I was searching and I happened to come across this, it's like, oh, and this one's in Tennessee.
You guys are from Crossville?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we drove in last night because got a room thinking, well, let's see, we've got an hour time change. We're gonna have the traffic, commuting traffic to deal with. Let's just go get a room nearby. Yeah, we stayed in Benton.
Which hotel did you stay in?
The
Quality Inn.
Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it's only like 8 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not your 5-star, but it's not a dump either.
Yeah, I heard GPS had us on the back roads. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm glad not to do that in the dark or in the rain.
Yeah, so we'll do our encounters and then we'll head on home tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we each have 2 kitties and they're flying solo tonight.
No.
Or last night.
Get that out of your hair. Yeah, you know ain't no food in your hair. You know ain't no food in your hair. Oh, I love
I'm gonna put you in my pocket and just go home with you.
Right?
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that.
So precious.
you. You're so precious. Yes, you are.
Oh, you wanna go back to her?
You wanna go back? You got more food on you. You're just a mess.
Yeah, he usually gets it all over himself.
So precious.
Yeah, our cats are gonna be looking at us crazy tonight with all these animal smells.
What a great job.
Yeah.
This
It's pretty
place,
nice.
this property is
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to work
Gorgeous.
something like this.
they put a lot of work into it.
no doubt. A lot of work, a lot of money. Do you know the acreage?
I'm not sure.
No.
But we also have like a plot that's over that way that's also theirs. We don't have anything on it yet. There's just an old house over there right now, but I'm not sure what the future plans are.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of changes and stuff that's gonna be happening around here soon too, as far as moving fences and getting different animals and things like that, just making different enclosures and
Looks
things.
like they employ quite a few people down here.
Yeah, and it's a big difference from what it used to be. So we've got 19 employees now.
Wow.
And just about a year and a half ago, they had about 3.
Wow.
No
So
kidding.
it has definitely.
They have got their wheels rolling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw a zebra back there. And, yeah, I like zebras.
Yeah, we've got 2 zebras right now, and the one that we just got, she's actually pregnant, so we should have a little baby here
Oh.
soon.
I like their noise they make.
Mhm.
It's very unique.
Yeah, that's the first time Tom Turkey out there, he was all puffed up and he was like puffing or something.
Yeah,
Like, okay, I've never heard that from a turkey before.
After you
Where's
walked
the
away.
gobble gobble?
Well, after you walked away, he did the gobble gobble.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
yeah, he loves to show off.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured. It's like, well, look at you all puffed
Uh-huh.
up and looking all studly.
Yeah, and all of the red that he has along his face and everything, if John picks him up, his snood that hangs down really long that's filled with blood and is red will actually start to shrivel up and turn white, and all of that looks red will slowly turn white because he's not able to show off and he's not, trying to puff up and look big.
Oh, really?
So, yes, naturally, if they're not trying to show off, then their face is white.
Oh, we are. Oh, so he
okay.
was putting on a show
Oh, yeah.
for us then.
Yes, he pretty much stays red 24/7 unless somebody picks him up. And it takes him-
Narcissistic little
yeah.
bird.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the cat's meow. You betcha.
Yeah, he loves attention. We have to tell everybody that stays here, they'll stay down in the covered wagons or in the cabin, and they'll be out, at nighttime roasting marshmallows and making s'mores and things like that. And we have to always tell them, like, you're welcome to give him all the graham crackers that you want, but do not give him any marshmallows.
No
because
marshmallows.
He gets it all over himself and then hates trying to be cleaned up, and so it's just a mess.
That's funny. Yeah, I get a sneaky suspicion this will not be my first and last trip.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You're entertaining that too, huh?
Yeah.
Well, if you guys ever come back, the farm tour is definitely a fan favorite. It's
Mhm.
only like $20, but you get to see all of the animals here on the
Okay.
farm. So all the way from the camels to the little micro squirrels that we have. So,
Well, and we were looking at all the different encounters and everything, and like last night, I think it was, Michelle even said, there's no way you can do this in one day.
Yeah.
Not if you want
No.
a hands-on, the
Mhm.
farm tour and
Yeah.
all that.
Not to mention trying to book it all on the same day too.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause you
Yes.
got horseback riding
Yeah.
too, and I said, oh, that'd be nice, this is a beautiful day, but it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can't do all of it in one day.
Mm-mm. Yeah, like I said, her birthday is in March, and this was a birthday present for her,
Mhm.
and I'm like, sorry, your birthday's gonna be a little delayed, but she wanted the Highlands, we both wanted the Sloth, and I wanted the Kangas. So it's like, okay, but I don't wanna drive the 2 hours back and forth,
Mhm.
so it did, it took us this long
Yeah.
to book all 3 encounters on one day.
Yeah.
But it gave us something to look forward to.
Mm.
Are you asleep up there, Flash?
He's got his eyes halfway cracked.
Is that how they sleep?
Yes, so they hang like that in the tree 24/7.
Do they
Unless, yeah, unless they were to be knocked out. Or sometimes they'll find a crevice where the branches are kind of making a Y and they can set their little booty in it, but yeah, they stay like that 24/7. And
That's
that's
some
because,
serious arm strength.
yeah, so for them, the mechanism of their arms, so for us, this takes work to make a fist.
Mhm.
It takes energy, but for them, their tendons and everything that goes through their forearms are so tight that this is their relaxed state.
Oh.
And so it takes virtually no effort for them to do what he's doing right now, which is basically just hanging like this.
Oh, wow.
And so for him to actually have to straighten that out is what takes work. And so for him, it's expelling energy to have to straighten his claws out.
Complete
like this.
opposite
Yeah.
from us.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so you can imagine, we're built to be upright, and they're built to be completely opposite from us. So it's
Yeah.
all, everything is backwards for them.
Now, does
So-
Flash get held?
No, Flash came from a facility where beforehand he was just behind this plexiglass and he just got his food in a bowl. Was never hand fed, was never held, never interacted with. And so it took John, the owner, about 2 years of really just staying there, spending time with him, talking to him, getting him comfortable with being around him before he would even come down and think about getting his breakfast
Mm.
from
Really?
hand. And so now he's come a long way. We've had him for about 3 years. And like I said, when we first got him, he would not even imagine doing anything like this.
Wow.
And so Flash has never shown interest in trying to grab onto any of us.
Mhm.
If he, wanted to do that and was standing close to us and acted like that's something that he would wanna do, then that'd be fine with us. But he's just never shown any interest like that, and so
Okay.
that's completely fine with us.
So he's for observation only?
Yes. Observation, a few pets on the back and feeding him his breakfast.
Well, and that's what he tolerates, that's okay.
Yep.
This here is a little treat.
Yeah, so they came from completely different environments, so it was, for these babies, just natural for them to be held all the time. So starting from a very, very young age, the mothers were clicker trained to know that when the little clicker would make a noise, they would get a treat, and the breeder would just borrow baby for like 30-45 seconds, and then give baby right back to mom. And so that time would slowly increase as baby would get older, to where by the time that they were fully weaned, around 4 months, whatever time that the mother would wean them, they were being used to being handled for 30 minutes to an hour a day, and they were completely fine with that. And
So it was a conditioning process?
Yes, yeah.
Now, who is John? Is John the owner of the
Yes.
farm?
Yeah, he is the owner, John and Donna. Donna does all the paperwork and virtual sides of things with the booking and everything like that, and John's always down here doing the cameras.
And searching for the next animal?
Yes. Yeah.
I'd have them all. Oh,
Are you wanting her back?
Well, I can get Zoe out. She's not had her breakfast yet either, and I've got her bowl prepared here. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to hold Zoe, I'll go
hold
get her and we'll
Okay.
drag her over and right back.
Well, then we're gonna have to have you take a picture of both.
I will. And Baku might run out here. He might find somebody's ankles and start digging out, but I promise he's harmless.
Hi, buddy.
You need to take a picture of that guy,
Hi,
Michael.
buddy.
He's just so damn little and cute, but there he
Hi,
goes.
buddy.
He's behind you. Can you get him?
Come here, buds.
So Baku is the three-banded armadillo. So he's
Trying to
native
get
to
it.
He's so
Brazil.
tiny.
Yeah.
Hiding.
Is he hiding? Oh,
He is native to Brazil, so he's not the kind that you see around here.
Oh, okay. I
on the
thought he
sides
looked
of
a
the
little
road. Yeah.
different.
Yeah, so you can see he's just got 3 bands on his carapace,
Mm.
and the ones that, if you found somewhere to burrow in there.
Is he a baby or is he full grown?
No, he's about 1.5 years old,
Okay.
and he's about to get a hairdo here from Flash. But yeah.
Hi. Hi. Okay, look at me again. Look at this. Hi.
Yeah, he'll try to take your phone there too.
Hi.
Alright, so this is Zoe. She is our picky girl. So she was our first baby, and you can imagine with any first child, you want to do everything just right. You've never had a baby before, and so we obviously had Flash, but we never had a baby. And when we first got her, she was smaller than Dash is now.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
so, you can think about changing the baby's diaper. If they don't want to have it done this way, then you do it that way. Everything is catered to them.
You
Yeah.
gonna take my
You try to
glasses
take your
off.
glasses.
You gonna take my glasses off.
And so Zoe is pretty particular about her sides and her belly being touched.
Okay.
So sometimes when she gets really comfortable and starts exploring and flip-flopping around and trying to go backwards and things, she'll show you her belly, but she does not by any means want you to touch her belly.
Kinda like a cat.
Yes, and so much so to the point where if we get too close to her sides, even if our arm is resting on her sides, she'll get pretty antsy about it, and then she's just tore up for the rest of the
Okay.
encounter. So we have to be pretty conscious about just real slow pets down her back and supporting her under her bottom and everything just going right for her. But
Oh,
other
look
than
at that
that,
tongue.
she is a very sweet girl. And she loves cuddles, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So we'll transfer her over and we can
Okay.
give her her breakfast. Here, Sissy.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
Hi.
Precious.
Hi, look at your butt. Oh, but you're heavier than the baby.
Yeah. And sometimes she gets a little
Aw,
bit
got them
antsy.
arms wrapped around you.
Yeah, she gets curious of Flash.
She feeds herself.
Yes.
I don't have any food for you.
Flash, are you still hungry, my man? What are you doing?
She's wanting those green beans.
Well, you can't have a diet of just green beans, and he cannot tell the difference between your finger and this, so just be aware of that.
Yeah.
And so they have really,
It's like,
really,
no, that meat smelled kinda good.
so like I said, they have very poor eyesight, And that's because they have what's called rod monochromacy, which means that they only have rod cells in their eyes and no cone cells. And the cone cells in the back of the eye is what's responsible for seeing color, and so they're essentially colorblind. And the rod cells are what's responsible for seeing motion. So they can see motion and blobs really well, but other than that, that's about it.
So
They also
there's the
have-
black and white?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also have a really narrow field of vision, so it would be similar for us comparatively if we were to like put both of our hands and cut them together and look just like that.
Okay.
So we have about no peripheral vision.
Oh,
So that I can only see you and I can't
Basically
see her.
tunnel, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And so especially with our babies, when they're still getting acclimated to everything and getting used to us, that's a finger. We have to be really slow with our movements and not make any really fast movements and things like that, because if they get startled, yeah, you're looking for the rice is what you're looking for.
Mhm.
You can smell the rice that you guys have got.
Oh,
He
okay.
loves the rice, but that is not his primary diet. But yeah, you could imagine, you know, if you lose one of your senses, that your other senses tend to be heightened. And so it's the same way with them. So sometimes if somebody comes in and slams the door like that and neither
Yeah,
one of them
she
are
just
prepared
jumps.
for it, yeah, they'll jump.
Mhm.
And just because it's a lot louder for them. And so we always, you know, send out an email saying, you know, kind of explaining this stuff, like just as long as you're calm and relaxed, then they will be as well.
So their hearing is super.
Yes, it's very heightened, and their sense of smell. And so yesterday, Flash was up in his enclosure, and I came in there with a little piece of banana and stood there for approximately 5 seconds
He's got
before
a
he
strong
smelled it.
arm.
And then he scurried on down to get his little piece of banana. So they can smell really, really well. He knows that you've got that rice. And so if Dash is not going to eat the rest of that rice, you are welcome to just hold the rest of that bowl up to him and he can finish it. He might make a little bit of a mess of
No,
it.
he went back second time, but.
Yeah, he did. Okay, that's up to you. We always kind of give him the leftovers after everybody else is done,
No, okay.
just because he is a pain if you don't. Looks like he's giving up for now.
Oh my goodness, I wanna take them home. I really, really do.
And so we always tell people that although our sloths here are cute and cuddly and amazing and everybody wants to stick them in their pocket and take them home, sloths make absolutely terrible pets.
I'll bet they do.
And so, yeah, everything is very hypersensitive for them. And so their temperature, as you can tell, it's 78 degrees in here right now, and it has to stay 78 degrees in here year round, which is nice in the winter, but in the summer,
Yeah.
obviously.
A little warm
bit
in the
warm.
summer.
Yeah.
You
that-
said they can't regulate
Yes,
temperature?
so they, as I said, the leaves of the sarcopia trees that they eat is very, very low in caloric content. And so they don't have the means to produce a lot of ATP or energy in their body. And so that means that they don't really have a lot of extra energy to expel with trying to regulate something as big as all of their body temperature. And so in the rainforest, that's not a problem for them because it's pretty steady, humid, and warm there in the rainforest. But you bring them out of their natural environment into somewhere like this, a lot of people don't realize that it has to be maintained. And so these are people that like to keep their house at 68, 70 degrees,
Right.
which is bad news bears for a sloth. And so it's expected that someone that does not have all of the means and the knowledge and the research done to own a sloth, if they were to get a hold of a sloth and bring them home, then it's essentially their life expectancy is only about a week.
I was gonna say, it sounds like that
Yes.
inadvertently
Maybe we'll
killed
take this so
them.
you can get.
Will you take a picture
Yeah.
of me and Dash here? Can
Is
you?
there a way to?
Yeah, just slide across the. Okay, I'll give it right back. There we go. All right, let's get this.
Okay, it's coming back. It's coming back.
talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
So sweet. Thank you.
I'll leave that open too in case you want to.
My hands are currently.
Yeah. I'm sure your heart is as well.
Oh, it's pounding.
And so speaking of
I'm
hearts.
gonna dream about this moment for a long
Yeah.
time. May have to do it again just
Yeah.
'cause.
And so speaking of heart, so our heart rate is about 60 to 80 beats a minute, and even higher if we're, stressed or excited. But for them, it's around 20 beats a minute.
Really?
So it's very, very slow. And
Wow.
it can actually get a lot slower than that to around 15 beats a minute if they were to enter a time of stress. So if their food was scarce or if the temperature started doing something wacky, they can go what's called torpor, which means that everything that's not necessary for survival, they just shut down. So obviously they need to digest their food and everything, and all of the essential metabolic processes will continue to exist, but everything else will shut down. And so they will essentially enter what a lot of people consider hibernation, but it's actually more of an adapted response to be able to survive in extreme stressful
And where is their
conditions.
native land?
So they're native to like Brazil, Costa Rica, Guatemala, places like that where they have really humid environments and a rainforest with the sarcopia trees. But on the off chance that something like that were to
Okay,
happen.
Zoe, I gotta switch arms.
Here.
I gotta switch arms. Okay. Ooh, you heavier than I thought. There we
Did
go.
you finish that up? Oh, look at that. You did. My goodness sakes. That was good, huh? You got a couple more pieces.
He says, hey Zoe, leave me some of that rice.
It's like, oh yeah, let me
Zoe
take another
is-
look.
Yeah, Zoe is usually always a clean plater though, so.
You enjoy working out here?
I do.
Yeah.
The people are pretty great too, so.
Yeah.
It's better than working at a factory or at Walmart. that's
Well,
for
you've been
sure.
very informative. I
Mhm.
appreciate
Well, thank
that.
you. Yeah.
Learning a lot about the sloths.
Yeah.
Very kind, you're very patient. And you haven't yelled at me.
I try to keep that to myself.
Yeah, she'll yell after we're gone. Down. Hi, did you finish it? Oh, look at that, you left nothing in there. Nothing.
Go rotate.
Mochi. Yeah, nothing. It's just my fingers.
And so if they were to enter that state of torpor and say that can last for hours to even days, but if whatever it is that's stressing their bodies out, whether it be lack of food or the environment's going crazy, if that was not resolved within a few days, they would not exit torpor, and it would just everything else would slowly start to shut down. They
Really?
wouldn't be able to digest their food, and everything would just slowly stop.
So they need to stay calm at all times.
And so, a lot of the issue that they're having in places that they're native to in Costa Rica and Guatemala, and where the cruise ships will dock in places like that, the natives will go out and their goal is to try to find a really young sloth or even a baby that's off of the mother's back and take the sloth to where they're docking. And so there's an agency, conservancy agency in those places that it's their job to tell everybody, don't touch sloths, don't hold sloths, don't keep sloths, don't take sloths, because it's a real issue that they're having in places like that. Yeah, he's gonna
Hey,
get
buddy.
you.
Hi, buddy.
Just watch your glasses too, because he will snatch them.
You're
But,
almost done.
so it's a real issue that they're having there, and so our hope with giving all this information and allowing people to spend time with the sloths that we have here, our hope is that everyone will get their sloth fix here, where these sloths have been ethically bred for this, and not feel the need to support the practices that they're doing there.
Right.
Yeah, he gets quite jealous.
You jealous?
Well, and that's like, people go to Australia and they wanna stick those little koalas in their
Yeah.
suitcase.
Nope, she almost got it. She's not leaving you any. She's not leaving you any. No way.
Flash. Let me go back up for a minute.
See, it's empty.
This is all you get. That's all you get.
He says, I don't want them damn carrots. Keep trying to tell you all, I don't want those carrots.
You cleaned your bowl.
Zoe does not want you. She does not. No. Quit bothering. He's like an older brother.
Oh, he's a big girl.
I can take her for a minute if you want me to.
You want a trade?
Who's the tray? This one has weight.
Okay, we can
I'll take Dash first, and I'll put him back in his little basket for a minute while I get
Yeah,
Zoe.
that's fine.
Gotta unlatch here.
Daddy?
Did you get a picture of me and Zoe together?
Yes, I've taken a few of them, but I've been taking them sitting here, so. Yeah, I got Dash looking down on ya.
Oh, I feel
Or
something
Flash.
on my foot.
Yeah,
What are
that's
you doing?
Baku.
He's
He just started
tickling me.
Oh, there you are, you little squirt.
Tickling me.
He was taking a nap over there on your guys' clothes.
You little squirt, you're funny.
Yeah, gotta give my wrist a break.
Yeah, she starts to get heavy after a while. She's got a little Buddha belly, that's for sure.
Baby.
She likes being able to do the bottom.
Yes. Remember with her to try to avoid her sides or her belly if she were to show those to you.
Straight down the back.
And sometimes with that, even she'll be a little bit antsy and start pawing at you, and if that were the case, just put both your hands under her back.
That's fine, that's when I'll just hold her butt. Let her be. I'm
She ate
in
it
her,
all. She ate it all, bud.
I'm under her rules right now. Yeah, you ate up all that rice. Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to get you. Stop moving.
Stop moving.
He reminds me of a little russet potato running around with high heels, is what he looks
It
like.
sounds like it. A little clickety click click. Okay, I finally got the armadillo. Is that what he is, an armadillo?
Yes, three-banded armadillo.
Okay.
So actually, if you wanted to scoot your chair back a little bit, I'm gonna open up Flash for you. Now he's
Oh
in
boy, she
family
just
mode.
clinched me.
Oh, sorry, baby. Sorry.
But if he goes back that way, we'll open up that door and see if he wants to go back
Okay.
into his room.
You're tickling my feet.
Hi, baby.
She's like looking over, going, where you at? Who is it?
Yeah, she gets quite jealous as well.
Does she?
Yeah.
Ah, that tickles. Armadillo's licking my ankle.
Yeah. So they eat primarily bugs, and so for whatever reason, he has in his head that there's bugs in people's socks, and so he will just go and just keep going at it until he finds nothing. And
That must've been why he was nosing in my sweatshirt
Yeah.
there.
yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I've never found any bugs in my socks, so if he ever does, then that will be the day. But he is named after the Bakugan toy that a lot of kids play with that, you know, if you put it on a magnet, it'll open up, but otherwise it's in a ball.
Okay.
And so he's
Is
Bakugan.
this noise bothering you at all? We have a pressure washer going, we don't
No,
wanna,
it's fine.
we don't wanna distract them.
But John, since he's a kid of the 80s, he wants to, once we finally get a girl for him, he wants to name her Shaka Khan.
Oh, no.
And if she gets heavy too, she's pretty close to your lap, so you might be able to just kind of set her into your lap, is what I do a lot of times, because my arms get tired. But she doesn't have any more food for you, so it's
I don't know, she gave me the little sloppy kisses. I don't know if that was preparing for the bite, but
But their tongues are a lot softer too than a lot of people
Oh,
think.
they are.
Well, they stole my spinach too, so I don't get any spinach.
They are very soft.
And so, like I said, they have those little micro cracks that are in their little hairs that allow the rain from the rainforest to get trapped in there, and that's what causes the moss and algae and everything to grow so well.
There's a video guy I see all the time.
Uh-oh.
Maybe that's why he's getting so antsy. He looks like he's gonna go down and use the bathroom now. He was getting real antsy out here. Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, let's open that door.
Well, there went a few pounds.
Sometimes he stays.
Doesn't he like do a little dance right before the movement?
He does. And he's actually crawling on his neck, which he rarely does.
Nope.
I'll step up, use the bathroom.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, belly. Don't like the belly on the side.
So where are you ladies from?
Crossville.
Oh, cool. That's not far at all.
Nah, couple-hour drive.
My grandparents had a restaurant in Cookville.
Oh, okay. They still own it?
No, this was 20 years ago. And before that, they lived in Dawsonville, and the restaurant they had there was called Lola's Country Kitchen. And it was like kind of like that meat and three.
Right.
That was back in the 80s, and it was good, but probably wouldn't be legal now because your arteries would probably close up after the third bite. But it's so yummy.
Tickles. Oh, that tickles. Yeah, we chose to come in last night and just get a hotel nearby. Oh, that tickles.
Oh, is he tickling your...
Oh, that tickles. Oh, I was looking at her going, where's she tickling you at? You know,
This is my armadillo friend.
Ah, I see him. He's funny.
Yeah, Flash is trying to figure out how to use the bathroom right now. It's really funny.
Mm.
Because, you know, sloths don't really stand up and walk.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of set their butt on the ground, and then he's holding... It's hilarious.
I heard they don't go that often.
No.
Once a month or something like that.
Every 7 to 10 days is how it should be. Sometimes their diet gets a little bit wonky, so we have to monitor it basically by looking at their poop. And so if it's too runny, then we want to decrease that bacterial that's happening. Or we might need to restart the bacterial growth by doing either probiotics or a fecal transfer. If it was too solid, we'd want to speed it up by giving him more fructose or fruit or different things like that to speed up the bacterial growth. So we're poopologists. You need another little snack, Zoe? She is all about always munching.
Is she? Oh, you heard that.
Hey girl, she's like, why didn't you feed me this morning? I was like, because you got Sloth Keeper this morning, girl. I usually feed her at like 9:30, but I saw it this morning. I was like, nope.
No.
I can't feed you. That's why you didn't come early. I'm not mad at you. We're still friends. Maybe I'll sell these
It's
right
probably a great place to work. I imagine it's a lot of work.
here. It is a lot of work. And there you go. I can let you feed her out of that if you want. You can just reach up there and grab one. And my daughter is that little blonde girl that's running around
Oh,
helping
is
out.
she?
Yeah, she loves it.
Get her into the animals.
I was gonna say, she loves her childhood.
Yeah,
And every child's dream.
She's gonna have lots of stories to tell.
And I occasionally let her do like a couple little presentations because she knows enough about the armadillos and some things. So I think the ability to speak publicly is not something that you can really just learn. It just takes practice.
Right.
He finally did come down.
Faces.
Did he?
He like went up and down and then he came down and I haven't looked at it yet, but
Okay, it's fine.
I gave them a little bit more veggies because Zoe was doing her thing.
Was he on the backside here?
Yeah, like right there.
Laid it off. Laid it up. Hi, you beautiful.
Great, great experience.
Oh, you can't like me. Coffee, because it's warm in here.
Oh, it's okay.
This armadillo really loves my ankles.
He can be a pain. So you can see that when
Yeah.
you can see his
Oh
ears
my
just a little bit
goodness.
sticking out. But when he fully closes up, this is his head plate, this is his tail.
Yeah,
So
oh my
cool.
gosh.
And he
You feel
actually,
how hard that is?
yeah. And you can see
Oh,
there's a bunch
wow.
of little hairs all over him as well.
Yeah.
And that's because he's a mammal. And so he's got a lot of hairs underneath his
Right.
carapace, but even on his carapace, there's
So that's like
hairs.
hard, like a turtle shell. Is it?
And you can see this is 1, 2, 3 bands.
Okay.
And then there's a little bit of skin connecting all the bands that allow him to.
And he's from where?
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah. So he does this really cool little trick where he'll keep his carapace open just a little bit. And in the wild, if something were to be after him and stuck his paw down in there, Zoe, he would clamp down on that paw or tongue or whatever it is that's trying to get him. And that's obviously doesn't really feel too good for him. So
Wow.
we always have to be real careful when we pick him up to not stick our fingers in there.
Right? What you looking for? Hi, is this your baby? Is this your baby?
She gets a little bit jealous.
Zoe. What are you doing? Huh? You wanna hold hands? Hi. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. I don't have no food. She has the food.
Yeah, no,
I
she
got
ate
the-
it all.
I got the baby. She ate it all. Oh, yeah, you trying to come over here, aren't you?
Here, Zoe.
Here.
It's
Still in her
distracting.
pad underneath. Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't necessarily love people touching her pad unless she's all grabbed onto him
Yeah.
already, so.
Mhm.
If she's already grabbed onto him.
Yeah, I'm trying to abide by all her,
Yeah.
not my side, not my
Yeah.
belly, stay away from my hip.
And I promise those are rules that she came up with, not us.
I'm sure.
And
And I'm here to respect those, Zoe. So Zoe dash Flash.
Are you just hangry? Is that what it is this morning?
It's really hungry this morning.
You gonna go back out and see us again? Now that you got your bathroom break over with?
He says yes, and I feel so much better.
Are you 5 pounds lighter? I don't know what he got on his head right there, but it looks wet. Why'd you stick your nose in? It may have been up there by the mister system. We have, since he has to maintain a really high percent humidity, we have a misting system that's set up through pipes that lead to little misters that are at the top of the enclosure that we run once a day to make sure that it stays humid in there.
So when do you guys let them on the outside? When it's a
When
certain
it's,
temperature?
yeah, when it's warm enough out there. So this morning was a little bit chilly, so I haven't opened it up yet. Yeah, it's still just 69 right now, so it's cold for it to open. Gosh, you are being a nuisance this morning. They're both like, no, don't pay attention to them.
Well, that,
I already asked you if you wanted this watch, and you didn't want it.
well, maybe I changed mine.
The cool thing about sloths is that they have the ability to completely turn off wanting to eat. So they can eat ravishly, obviously, as long as they're hungry. But as soon as they get their belly full and their system is full enough to where they don't need to eat anymore, they have absolutely no problem with turning away food.
And I'm done, huh?
Yeah. And they need that internal shutoff because it takes their whole digestive system to digest everything that's in it 30 days.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, you can imagine that if they just had the same eating habits that I do, where I could still eat a sweet treat after I had a 4-course meal, that would be pretty hard for them to, they'd be full to the brim.
Wow.
So.
Feel bloated much?
You're just an eating machine, aren't you? I would get you some spinach to finish you off, but somebody has napped our spinach. Usually when I break out the spinach, she's like, well, if that's all you got, then I'm fine.
Then I'm done. I'm not eating.
Yeah.
You feel better, Flash?
Oh, yeah, you always feel better after going to bed.
And so I said that they only go to the bathroom once a week, and that also is not only solids but liquids as well.
Wow.
So it's 1/3 of their whole body weight in both.
I can't imagine going once a week, right? Wow.
But they need that system because we've talked about how the sloths need moths because they need them for the protein. And I did not mention that they need them for their bacteria in their gut as well. So when they turn around and groom themselves, they lick up a portion of the moths for protein, and they also lick up a portion of the moths' waste, which gives their gut bacteria to be able to digest their food. So for us, it's an enzymatic process where we digest our food, but for them, it's a bacterial process.
I'll be darned.
And so they need the bacteria from the moths to be able to digest everything. And the moths need the sloths because the sloths are where obviously it's a transport for them from the bottom of the rainforest. And they're going down to the bottom of the rainforest when the sloth goes down to use the bathroom to lay their eggs. So the moth will get off of the sloth when it goes down there and starts doing its little poop dance and lay the eggs in the dung pile of the sloth and then crawl back up onto the sloth before it loses its ride back up to the rainforest.
Wow.
So,
Do sloths have any abnormalities? Like, I don't know, cow has 7 stomachs, this animal
So
has
they
2
have-
hearts, and
well, the 46 ribs are definitely something.
Oh,
that
that's
I
right.
just need
Do
to
you have an
know.
x-ray so we can see that?
I don't think I have an x-ray like of any of them, but I can look up a skeleton.
It's like, where in the devil did they put 46
I know,
ribs
that's
in
what
that
I'm
one?
wondering. That's why I said I wanna see an x-ray.
So I can show you, this is, so this is a 2-toed sloth, and it kind of cuts off the bottom of it there. But you
Wow.
can see the skull, they only have a really short vertebrae in the back. And so the 3-toed sloth, you can see how much longer their neck
Okay.
is.
Oh,
And they have a little bit of tail. And so it's thought that since the 3-toed sloths have that little bit of a tail, when they go down to use the bathroom and do their little poop dance, their tail makes a little hole in the pile that they had already down there from the week prior. And so the 3-toed sloths actually have even more moths that live in their fur because of that, because it allows the larvae, while they're still developing into moths, to go ahead and crawl up onto the sloth before they're even really fully developed.
Wow.
And so it's pretty cool for that aspect.
it's amazing how this world works.
Yeah. Everything definitely think based off of those skeleton references that if you were to just see a skeleton of a sloth and that have no prior knowledge and have never seen a real live sloth,
I wouldn't know what it
you
was.
would, yeah, you would think that that thing's like tearing through the rainforest, 100 miles an hour, ripping everything out of the trees that it's.
Yeah, you would, to look at
And,
that skeleton.
So I think that the Lord definitely has a unique personality and sense of humor to make things like that.
I
And
do
it just- Yeah. It's quite interesting for me to even think about, the dinosaurs. Nobody's ever really seen a real life dinosaur. We've always seen the skeletons and the remains like that.
Right.
So how many of these like T-Rexes, like with these tiny little arms, I wonder if they're running around, when they were
Right.
actually alive and they were just this harmless little, maybe they ate plants. We can't see
Right.
that from the from the skeletons that are left.
See, and during the Ice Age, they were saying that we had giant sloths.
Yeah. Yeah, we did have giant sloths back then. We do have records of those, but we do not have those around anymore. And it's thought that the giant sloths are actually responsible for why we have avocados so well and in several different places, because the giant sloths had the capability to swallow a whole avocado seed.
My goodness.
And so obviously they would travel around different places.
Yeah, plant the
And-
seed.
And the seed would be transferred like that way.
Well, yeah, that's how we got all our plants in, and we moved them around.
Yeah.
What you got in your eye? You got something in your eye? You got something in your eye, baby? Does she? Looks like it. I'm not touching your eye, baby. That's your keeper's job.
Yep.
Yeah, Dash had like a little piece of lint or something in his eye yesterday that I was like trying to get out and wipe over. And every time I try to get it, he'd like clamp his eye down so hard that I never even got any process with it or progress.
I like how their eyes bug out, kinda like the, I just lost the name of that animal. It's also in the rainforest. They got the bug eyes.
The monkeys?
No, they're not monkeys, they're, I don't remember what they're called. They're small animals.
Oh, the lemur or something, the.
Lemurs.
Yeah, they're the small ones with the bug eyes.
Yes, and those are the ones that, I just learned recently that those are the ones that like if they're threatened or they see something that they think is gonna get them, that they will turn and lick a scent gland that's like on their elbow/armpit, and that reacts with the saliva that's in their mouth. And so when they bite whatever it is that they're scared of, that is how they produce the venom, is because by itself, the saliva and just the scent gland are harmless, but after they mix is when it
I'll be
produces the,
darned.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Wow.
So if you ever go to pet one of those and they start licking their armpits, then you
Yeah.
better back away.
That's when you hand them back over. You need to take this from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hungry little beast this morning.
I notice when he hangs there, I don't know if he's making himself do it, but there's like a little wiggle to
Yeah,
it.
and there's the vent is right there,
Oh,
and so
okay.
sometimes the vent will move him a little bit too.
He appears to be asleep.
He does.
Is he?
And so sometimes, and so he's actually not asleep, he just opened his eyes up, now he's moving his head. When scientists first were trying to figure out how much sloths actually sleep a day, they estimated that it was about 18 hours a day, and that's because they never really observed them up close like this. But after doing some closer research and more intense research, they realized that a lot of the times that they thought they were sleeping, so like it just looked like he was sleeping, and then he moved his head all of a sudden, that they weren't actually sleeping, they were just kind of hanging there chilling, because sloths don't feel like they have to be doing something 24/7 like we
Right.
do. I would go out of my mind if I just sat in a chair for, more than an hour. And so that's when they moved their hypothesis to sleeping that, or thinking that they slept about 15 to 16 hours a day, which is still a lot of sleep, so.
We need to give you eye.
Yeah.
Where's your buggies? Where's your
Oh,
bug?
I can feel her belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Grumbling.
grumbling, growling, doing something. Digested.
She may be close to using the bathroom.
Uh-oh.
She tends to develop a little Buddha belly right before she goes to the bathroom, and she is getting quite plump, so. They're a lot like 2-year-olds too, they explore everything with their mouths, so. And Zoe, the other day, I was doing an encounter with her, and she was sitting closer to this door, it was closed. She was reaching out trying to open up that door, she was messing with the doorknob. So, what do you do, girl? You don't have opposable thumbs, I don't know what you think you're gonna get done with that. What you're doing.
I hear it. I feel it. No vibration going on in there. Oh. Can you get any cuter?
She says I can. Watch
And,
this.
yeah,
Watch this.
Girl, no, let's get you pizza food. There we go. Looks like she's trying to shield her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you break?
So I said she has something in that eye.
Yeah. She probably won't be very happy with me.
You guys got the cutest noses.
they do.
And the 3-toed sloths are the ones that have the little bit smushed faces, and they have like a band over their eyes that kind of looks like a raccoon.
do they?
And those are the ones that you see pictures of that look like they're constantly smiling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this little guy, when he grows up, his fur is gonna change more like.
Yes, so he still has his baby fur right now, and as it starts to grow out, which has gotten a lot longer from when he first came here. When he first came here, it was like half of the length that it is right now. So it will, once it grows out, it'll slowly start to kind of turn into, I would say, frosted tips, but it's kind of like the reverse. So it'll be like chocolate tips as it starts to grow out, and then when it fully grows out, it will be just white like that. They keep just a little bit of chocolate on their heads.
Yeah, Zoe is really soft.
Mhm.
And that's the baby fur. Would you finally get a full head? Is it all calm down now? Loving this.
What are you looking at?
He said, that's my person back there. It's your person back there.
Feels precious. Thank you so much for giving us this,
Yeah, no problem.
all the information and
And so sloths, since how I said that they have a good sense of hearing, they can hear the difference between our voices. And so it would take, a little bit of time for them to learn our voices. So they're still learning mine since I've only been here for about 2 weeks. But John, if he were to come down here and Flash is all the way up at the top of his enclosure, all John has to do is just poke his head in and go, "Hey, Flash," in his voice, and he knows that it's him. And so he scurries down the fastest.
Does
John
he?
than anybody else, yeah. And they also know their names, so even
Oh, really?
Dash, yeah, so when he is in his basket, he stays up at the main house at nighttime. And so they could be in the same room with him, talking about different things. And as soon as they start talking about him and saying his name, he'll start rolling around, uncovering himself, and start peeking out
Oh
over the
my
side of the basket.
goodness.
So they definitely know when we're talking about him. And Zoe was the same way when she was a baby.
I'll be darned.
And so so of course, when we go in there and we say, hey, Flash, or hey, Zozo, they start to know. Well, when they say that, they're talking about me. They're coming here, they're looking at me, they're picking
So they
me
have
up.
intelligence.
They do. And with Zoe, like I said, she was our first baby, and so Donna, John's wife, she was exclusively attached onto Donna's hip, 24/7. I mean, that was her person, and Donna was fine with it. I mean, she would be doing paperwork, being on phone calls, and Zoe would just constantly be on her. And so Zoe got so attached to Donna to the point where Donna could not come down here anymore and do what I'm doing with you right now. I'm doing sloth encounters and talking with people, because the whole time Zoe would just be turned
Too
backwards,
attached
just
to her.
trying to get to Donna, and would never, like cuddle the people that she's sitting on. And so I got the last time that Donna was down here and she gave the encounter, like giving the whole spiel and everything. I was still learning. It was. I mean, she had to like totally step away and lower her voice.
Wow.
Because the whole time Zoe was just reaching for her and wanting her.
Yeah.
And so
That was her mom.
yeah. And so we're definitely trying with Dash this time to be sure that it's not just one person that holds him, and that I'll feed him breakfast and John will feed him breakfast, and everybody that's going to be working with him feeds him and holds him and talks to him. Because we don't want him to be so attached to one person that person's not able to do the encounter, because the whole time they're going to be looking for them.
So did you say?
never know if something happens to that person too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So did you say that they'll have one more encounter today?
Yeah, so today I think it's right after you guys, they have another encounter. But for the Sloth Keeper encounter, which is what we're doing right now, it's 3 hours, but the 3 hours are usually spread between the 3 sloths, and so it's really about an hour apiece. And so I had mentioned earlier how not one sloth encounters for more than 2 hours a day, and that's because we don't want to tire them out. We want them to have time to, take breaks and take naps and stuff. And so they'll have another encounter after this, but when they're done for, until this afternoon, is another one that I think is with Zoe.
You've got the cutest little bowl.
I know, they're just adorable.
It's really cute when it starts to go and they start sniffing and smelling something.
Yeah.
Bananas or something.
He's so cute. So sweet.
Yeah, this has been a lifelong dream.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Check. One more off the bucket list. Yeah, you're very fortunate to have a job like this.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of work and all, but
Well, and even, when we
live a great story, man.
And even, when we get all of our jobs done and everything, and we have downtime or on our breaks, lunch breaks and things, we just come in and spend time with them, because it's, this is a place where we want all of our animals to be very comfortable with people and interacting with people. And
Right.
so the ones that are a little bit more skittish and things like that, we always just spend extra time with and make sure that your ears are, know that people are okay to be around, and that we're not gonna hurt them, not gonna do anything like that, so.
Yeah, build up that trust.
So we're still working on our porcupine. She's out there in a little dog kennel right now.
Yeah, I
And we're
saw
trying
her.
Usually she stays outside in Zoe's outdoor enclosure, because Zoe doesn't really go out there a whole lot right now. But we're trying to work on getting her a bigger enclosure that's outside all the time, that doesn't have a top over it. So we've got a little, one of those little igloo dog kennels that you can go into.
Yeah.
She can go in there. But we put her in there for like 10 minutes yesterday, and she immediately started to try and dig out of the enclosure. And so we're gonna have to porcupine proof that one before we put her back out there.
Like, no, I don't think so. I'm not gonna like this one.
She's definitely got some sass to her though. Anytime you come up, if you startle her or something, she always turns her side to you. Not cool, don't bother me now.
Warning.
And she wasn't a baby when we first got her, and so she's still a little bit apprehensive of people, so we're
Is she?
definitely trying to work on her with
She
that.
looked pretty good size out there in that.
They apparently will get a lot bigger than that. So John
Really?
says that they'll get like German Shepherd
Oh
size.
my gosh.
So those are the, what is that?
African.
African,
Holy cow.
yeah. So they're not the ones that you see that, are quelling your dogs that get outside. Those are some massive ones.
Dang, yeah. Yeah, 'cause she looks
I
pretty big.
saw it and I avoided the cage. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not messing with that thing. I got your nose. I had to do it. I had to touch your nose at least one time. I saw it. I told it.
Feels like a puppy nose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So soft.
Cold
Their
and wet.
tongues- Their tongues are really soft too, and they lick you.
They are. Yeah, I was lucky, I got a couple of sloth kisses. So I said I didn't know if she was testing the meat or not. But you're vegetarian, so.
He's just exploring. That's the toddler.
She seems very, very content.
Yeah, that's her sleeping position, so she balls up like
Oh,
that.
is
her little
it?
hammock, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, sitting her on my lap. And she seems very content with it.
What is making that
Well, the
noise?
second one was a person.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a person. But the first one, they bath so much that their voices like go hoarse. That, I mean, they're little tension frogs is what they are. We call them.
How many animals or animal varieties?
So
do they have out
species,
here?
I am still working on that one.
Really?
So they've got over 150 animals, but species, I'm trying to go through right now and compile this list of, how many kangaroos we have, how many sloths we have, how many horses we have, how many goats we have. And, so I'm still working on that list.
Are you?
It's a running list right now, but, we're definitely gonna have to get that down to be able to put on the website too. Over 150 animals and 35 different species, something
My
like that.
goodness sakes.
Yeah.
So most of the animals that come here, are they rescues?
They all come from different stories.
Do they?
So Thomas, the turkey that you saw running around, he came from a facility in Sweetwater that we used to take when we had emus. We would take our emu eggs over there to be incubated, and chicken eggs and duck eggs and geese and things like that. And they are primarily a turkey farm, and so they go to freezer camp, all of them. And the lady that had him there said that he was too nice of a turkey to go to freezer camp, and so he got to come home with us.
Aw.
And a lot of times people will do things like that, where they're like, hey, I've got this sheep that's really nice, like, you wanna take it? Sheep really,
Okay.
And so I have sheep myself, and
Do
I
ya?
had this last lambing season, I had a lamb that was a triplet, and he was just like 2 times smaller than his
Aw.
brothers. And so I had to bottle feed him because he just wasn't getting enough from his mom. And they're meat sheep that I raise. And so he is the sweetest little thing, and his name is Frank. And he
Oh.
knows his name. I can go out there and go, Frank, and he'll come running and bowing.
Oh, too
And so I'm like, we can't butcher him. That
No,
was,
you can't.
I'm too attached to him.
Once you name them,
Yeah.
no.
And so he's gonna come here. Because I mean, at home, like, we have just a limited amount of pasture, and so he's just a pasture pet right now, but I'm like, if I bring him here, he's gonna get fed treats all the time, he's gonna hang out with people, which is what he
A lot of
loves to do.
interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would rather, he thought he was a dog for the first 2 months of his life. And so he would rather be with people than his own kind.
And
So
my
even-
friend, she has peacocks and all kinds of different birds. Beautiful peacocks. She's a white one, and then of course the greenish blue.
Yeah, they've got peacocks up at the house too, and they just, for whatever reason, discovered that they can come down here. And they've been coming down here, and the people eat it up, but we want them to go back up to the house because they are a pain to clean up after. They'll get
Are
on those
they?
steps that go up to the camel condo and just poop and roost
Oh.
there, and we're like, can you just go back to where you came from?
And aren't they rather noisy
Yes.
birds?
So I was hearing them the other day,
Thought so.
and I think that, have you ever watched the movie Up, that little animated movie?
Yes.
It was the Carl or whatever that bird was. I swear I think that they got the noise that he makes from a peacock.
Probably.
Because it sounds just like it.
Yeah, 'cause I asked my friend, I was like, how many peacocks do you have? She's 5. And man, they're so loud. Even at night, they're loud. And I was
Yeah. Yeah, that classic, ah, I swear, I think
Yes.
that's off of the bird from Up. I swear that's what they got it from.
Are you enjoying your time?
And we've got one sheep that is a sheep, and everybody when we first got her thought it was a goat because she's a black belly sheep, and so she's marked just like a goat is. But the difference between goats and sheep is that goats' tails go straight up and they're really short, and sheep's tails go down and they're really long and floppy.
Did not
And
know
so-
that.
Yeah, and so I knew it was a sheep, but everybody was like, no, that thing has to be a goat. The marking and the floppy ears, everything, that thing is a goat. And so we named her Shoat, the sheep goat.
Show you.
And she has been in quarantine the past several days because she got some warts around her mouth that are contagious to other goats and sheep. And so she was by herself and hated every second of it because they're very social animals, especially sheep.
Are they really?
Yes, so sheep are, it's really special to me, using Bible references and everything like that. Like, you know, a sheep needs a shepherd, they need somebody to tell them where to go and where not to go. And
Right.
a lot of people think that they're really dumb animals, and in some ways they can be. They'll run face first into a fence if they're allowed to. But in a lot of ways, I mean, they're a flock animal, and so they need to be with the flock, and they need to have a leader, which is most of the time a shepherd, that will show them where to go. And so I've had sheep and goats throughout my life, and the biggest thing, other than the tail, that I've noticed between the two is that I've had bottle babies of both kinds, and the bottle baby goats are hilarious. They'll jump around, and it's a great grand time that they have, and they're so funny to watch. But they could care less after they have their bottle about you. They'll go off and play with themselves, with other ones, and a sheep will stick right by your side. The whole time.
Really?
And yes, with Frank, I mean, I could give him his bottle and he could be completely content. I could have already washed the bottle and had it up, and he knows bottle time is over. But he will be right at my heels the whole time.
I didn't realize sheep were that
Yes.
dedicated, you know,
Yes.
loyal, whatever
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
Yes, they very much need somebody to take care of them. And I've seen this YouTube video or Instagram or something that this sheep that had somehow gotten wedged in between, like in a little, you know, he's gonna clean himself, drop shavings all over you.
I was like, it's raining over here.
Yeah, that's his favorite trick that he likes to do right over people.
What are you doing out there? I see you.
Yeah.
I see you.
But this video that I saw was this sheep that had somehow wedged itself on its back, all 4 feet up in the air, in a little ditch or a little crevice where it could not turn either way. And someone had just gotten it unstuck from being there.
And then it went right back to
Yes,
it.
and sat it up straight, and it was still dizzy from being upside down, and ran and fell right into the same position that it had just been into. And I was like, how many times is that
Yeah.
me with the Lord? I mean, I have to come back every time and be like, Lord, I'm stuck again. Come get me out. Now, yeah, you're getting jealous, aren't you?
Well, I'll hold you if you let me hold you, buddy, but I heard you don't like to be held.
Right?
And we've offered it. I mean, we've stood where he's just like that, and we've stood like right by him to see if he wants to climb over onto us, and he's just never shown any interest. And there was one time just a few days ago that he had actually climbed onto this little rope that's in his enclosure that isn't meant for climbing. That's just how we set up his stick for him to be able to go outside. But he climbed onto that rope, and John stood right next to him to see if he wanted to climb onto him. He's like, get the camera, he might climb onto me for the first time, because he was like on the rope and didn't really was trying to figure out where else to go.
Right.
And so John was just like standing right next to him, like, you can come to me if you want. But he figured out how to go back up by himself. Did you get hungry again?
What are you hearing?
Yeah, they get
I love
curious.
the way they reach.
And
It's
there's,
just a slow,
yeah.
deliberate reach.
Yeah. That's not for you. Yeah, it's slow unless they feel like, oh, something's getting me. Ah, flash. How about you just eat your snackies and leave Dash alone, huh?
She's curled up in a little ball.
Yeah, she is.
She's just so sweet.
Actually, all the sloths here are very, very calm.
By nature.
But
they're
that's
pretty
been a
much
lot
all-
of work,
Yeah.
getting them to trust and
Yeah.
everything.
And like I explained, I mean, the babies, since they were just a few days old, have been conditioned to be able to be held by people. And so Flash didn't have that experience, and so we had to use a lot more patience and everything with him, just trying to get him to be used to us and know that we're not a threat.
And it's very nice of the farm to offer the encounters. Some of them are a little expensive,
Yes.
but I figure the money goes right back into the farm and the animals.
Yep, and the food.
Oh, yeah, I'd hate to see their food bill.
Yeah. I feel like it's every day that people are messaging in the group chat, we need more sweet potatoes, we need more milk replacer, we need more.
But you know, it's a wonderful opportunity for those that can do it.
And it is. I mean, we offer field trips as well. And so in Benton, Tennessee, it's a really small little town, and we're right in between Knoxville and Chattanooga, which are really big cities. But, you know, Knoxville and Chattanooga, those are the both closest zoos that we have, but they're both an hour away.
Right.
And Knoxville's a little bit over an hour away. And so for kids that live in this area, that goes to the schools that are in this area, they don't really have a whole lot of other opportunities unless because the schools are not gonna drive them that far to go to the zoo. And so they have a partnership with a lot of the schools around here, and with the school year wrapping up, we just had a lot of field trips for the kids to come. And, you know, it takes up pretty much the whole day, at least
Oh,
half the day
sure, it
until,
would.
you know,
A
to-
bus of kids?
Exactly.
You bet.
And that whole day, we keep it as cheap as we can for the schools so that they're able to do it. With it being such a small town and a small community, they don't have hundreds and thousands of dollars to spend on a little, you
No.
know,
They don't.
a little trip for their kids. at the end
So
of
it's
the
a
school
great
year.
opportunity for the kids.
And just to teach them, I mean, I grew up around animals and having animals to care for, and my dad would always tell me that, you know, these animals, with them being in captivity, I had rabbits for a long time when I was a kid.
Hello.
She would always, he would tell me that, you know, your rabbits would not live if you did not go down there and feed them and water them and take care of them, because they can't do it for themselves.
Right.
And so I think that it teaches kids a lot of responsibility and helps them grow up and just builds character for being around animals and
I think you're right.
understanding how they work.
I know myself as a child, I was exposed to animals. My dad was always bringing home something.
Yeah.
Everything from turtles to snakes to puppies, kittens, rabbits,
Yeah.
whatever.
Now, since they're, do you have to trim their claws since they're enclosed?
No, so they naturally will wear them down, and so you can see how long his nails are, or toes or claws or whatever you want to call it, but they're pretty dull, and so you can tell sometimes with Dash, his are a little bit scratchier because he doesn't climb as much. He has the opportunity to, the enclosure that he stays in at the house, he stays in his basket, we set the whole basket into the enclosure, and he has low limbs and trees and stuff that go around his basket that he has the opportunity to climb, but he's just not there yet, and so his are still a lot sharper than Flash's.
Yeah, 'cause I know when you have captivity animals, it seems like you have to do more for them than you would the wild.
Yeah.
Can you take Zoe? I really have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, sure. Don't drop that on there.
I've held it as long as I can.
Eve and I had to take a bathroom break a minute ago. So, come on, girl, come on now.
Nope, you're over here.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So that word, the go not not, is a cue word for her that she was taught when she was a baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so when she first came, we had this stuffy that we would transfer her over onto.
Yeah.
And of course, when we first got her, she was smaller than the stuffy.
Right.
And now she's bigger than it, and so sometimes it gets in the way of things, but I'm gonna set her back in here for a little bit so she can take a nap, have a little break before her next encounter.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one might wanna lay down too. I don't know what time it is.
Keep wanting to go to your first and now I agree.
Got her.
Ooh, I'm bending backwards here, honey. And he's so funny, and I'll put him down in this basket, and he will work his way to be underneath this blanket.
Yeah, I bet.
He loves to be
Comfort.
hidden.
Yeah.
And so when we first got him, we had him flown here, and the breeder told Donna that when you go to pick up the baby and you see, you open up the carrier and there's no sloth in there, there's actually a sloth in there and he's just hidden underneath the towel because he loves to cover himself up.
Yeah, I always follow different, all kinds of animals on Facebook, and they always show the babies on a stuffy animal and blanket.
Yeah.
All right, bud, you want another piece? You want another piece? Maybe? Okay, all right.
So while that rice is finishing up, another thing that we shred into it is sweet potato. And so since the sweet potato is pretty hard, and Dash's teeth are so small, he can't chomp into the sweet potato like Flash can.
Right.
And so we shred it up really fine to where it's easier for him to eat.
Okay. Got to get a selfie here, buddy.
Oh, yes. And sometimes get a really good selfie. Show people that you want to, you can
That's
kinda-
funny.
Yeah. You lure him down with a little piece of something. Not really wanting that, so I'll give him just a tiny little chunk of banana. And he loves banana. And so if you guys both want to get either a selfie or a picture as a do this,